Hello everybody, back once again with another video. So this, I've been tagged in for a video response for the 31 Days of Horror, tagged by xfile2708. I think I've written your name correctly now, mate. Not very good at remembering numbers on people's names. Marcus. Yeah, so thanks for the tag. So yeah, a few that he did show I probably would have showed. He showed quite a few, obviously like classics, like Halloween, and then some more, what do you call it, like obscure unknown ones. Um, these are all ones I've got in the collection that I'm going to show. A couple I would have sort of showed if I did have them, so kind of honorable mentions before I get started, are sort of what I call like kids horror films, so like a sort of gateway entry to the genre. So you've got Monster Squad. I think it's from like late 80s, early 90s. Used to really love it as a kid. I think it's only on American import on like Region 1. So I've never really paid to get it imported. I think it's on Amazon. I've never really seen it in the shops or anything, like see it second hand. But yeah, really good. Sort of got the classic kind of Universal monsters. Yeah, I'd say it's kind of like Goonies, Stand By Me, sort of children cast going up against monsters. It's a sort of kids horror, but it does have a few quite sort of I wouldn't say graphic, but quite intense sort of moments for like a kids horror. But yeah, I used to like that as a kid. I think there was one scene that used to scare me and my sister a bit, but we used to watch it a lot. And Guillermo del Toro's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Let me move this a little bit so it's a better angle without it falling over. Which, yeah, I went to see at the cinema. I thought it was quite a fun film. Never really... A lot of people I knew used to read the books of it, and there were some like real scary pictures in it, but I never really knew about the books. But yeah, again, I'd say that's kind of like a gateway horror. Same as you could say like Beetlejuice. Trying to think of any others. But yeah, I mean, these... I'll get on with it anyway, so I don't ramble on for too long. But yeah, I've tried to pick some within this with different subgenres. So obviously you've got like haunting, possession, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, some sort of foreign and world cinema. So yeah, without further ado, before I ramble on too long, so I've got 31 to show. So obviously it's a recommendation for like one for people to watch each day. And I'll tag a couple of people at the end. So let's start with The Void. Let me move a bit so you can see I'm not getting in my own way when I'm trying to show these. Right, so yeah, The Void is like a sci-fi horror, I'd say. Quite recent, I think, yeah, 2017. Yeah, I was really impressed by this one. Kind of like a H.P. Lovecraft sort of feel. Kind of starts as like a mystery, you don't really know what's going on. It's kind of a cult horror, not as in a cult movie with a cult fan base, but as in it's got an actual sort of, what do you call them, like evil cult, I guess. Yeah, it starts in like a police station, and there's basically something down in the basement, like a sort of hell dimension. They have to go down there. Yeah, amazing special effects. All seems to be practical, really tense, kind of mystery. So as it unwinds, there's like two characters. You think they're villains, and you think they're good. You don't really know. Real tense scenes. But yeah, I was really impressed with this one. So if you're into your sci-fi horror or sort of H.P. Lovecraft sort of style, cosmic horror, I guess you'd call it, then yeah, would recommend that one. Let me move this so I move a little bit closer. Right. Yeah, obviously usually I record it where you can't see me, so I'm trying to sort of get a nice setup where I've got a good angle on, so I can show them. But yeah, it's a lot easier now. I've got my hands free to be able to open them and stuff to show them to you. If I keep looking over this way, it's because this is where the pile is I'm getting them from. So let's go for a fun sort of comedy horror in Army of Darkness. So Evil Dead Part 3. So yeah, some good creatures in it. Some funny bits. One bit I always used to remember is when he has to save what do you call it? Like the rites, I guess, like a curse kind of thing. And he forgets what it is, so he's sort of coughing as he's saying it and trying to mask it. It's a bit when he fights all these skeletons, which I think is probably like a little what's the word? Like throwback to Ray Harryhausen. I think it was from Clash of the Titans, along with all this sort of stop motion skeletons. Yeah, a bit when he gets the boomstick and the chainsaw, really classic. I mean, obviously Evil Dead 2 is a comedy horror, but this one I say is a bit more entry level, not as gory. And obviously a lot of people know Evil Dead 2, so I thought I'd showcase that one. Should we go Tale of Two Sisters? So this is South Korean, directed by Kim Ji-woon, who does A Bittersweet Life and I Saw the Devil. So A Bittersweet Life, really good film. Recently got the Second Sight 4K box set, but not horror. And then I Saw the Devil, horrifying, but it's more of a cat and mouse kind of really brutal film, to be fair, but really good. Yeah, so this is quite a subtle one, a sort of slow burner, I would say. I can't really go into it too much. Obviously, it's about two sisters and the stepmom they live with, and it's a kind of ghost story, so I don't want to spoil it, so I won't go into it too much. But yeah, now I've got my hands free. Would have changed the slipcover round. Sorry, not the slipcover. What do you call it? Like the outer. But I do have this on Titan Asia Extreme as well. But I thought I'd show this version. It's a really nice version. But yeah, if you're into your foreign cinema, I think this is one of the best, well-made, creepiest out of all of the sort of Asian horror bracket. Just go with The Thing. So I'm sure everybody knows this one. Everybody knows this is my favourite film, if you know anything about my channel. So favourite sci-fi horror, favourite horror in general, favourite movie overall. Film I've watched the most. So this is the 4K, comes with a Blu-ray as well on the Steelbook. I have quite a few versions of this, but thought I'd show this one rather than get the sort of lumpy Arrow version out. Yeah, I think this was originally released Region 1. There was like a problem with the sound or something on it, so they had to re-release it on well, I guess it's all region. I think all 4K is like multi-region, Region 0, 1 and 2. But yeah, this works on my PS5, put it that way, and cost me about 25 on Amazon, which is quite a lot, and I'm not a massive collector of steelbooks, but being this is my favourite film, I wanted it on 4K. I won't talk about it too much. I'm sure everybody knows The Thing. If you haven't seen it, then get and see it. I'm sure you'd be impressed. But yeah, so rewatchable. Just because, like I've said before, there's just some mystery, sort of loads of red herrings, ambiguous. John Carpenter sort of never really divulged who exactly is The Thing. You can watch it multiple times and see more different things in it. Really creepy isolation. Best special effects ever, in my opinion, by Bob Bottin. Never been matched. Don't think it ever will be, because now films are going CGI and that. But yeah, it hasn't really aged, this film. Still stands up really well. But yeah, won't go on too long about The Thing. Sure, everybody knows that. But yeah, obviously I thought I'd get a few ones in there that are quite well known for sort of casual people or people getting into horror that only watch it at Halloween. But like Marcus from X-File 2708 said, I watch horror films all year round, really. It's not as good in the summer, I do watch them, but when it's cold outside and raining and stuff, it's a better atmosphere, really. But yeah, Halloween, probably my favourite time of the year, so I've booked the week of Halloween off of work, so I can just stay at home and watch a load of films. Probably won't be able to do the 31 myself, because on days when I work and that, I haven't got time when I get home to watch a horror movie every single day. But hopefully when I'm off the week, if I can watch like 5 a day or something, I might get like 30 done. What should we show? Eden Lake. You can get this on Blu-ray, maybe 4K, but I've only got the DVD. Hoping Second Sight or someone will do a nice 4K box set of this. British film, really brutal, kind of, I wouldn't say home invasion because it happens like in the woods and stuff, but will make you angry, this film, not because it's bad, just because the stuff that happens in it. But yeah, pretty disturbing, pretty graphic, kind of a thriller horror, kind of like a chase film. It's got Thomas Turgoose, that was in is it This Is Britain? I think it's This Is Britain. Sure everybody knows. I can't try to think who it's directed by now. Shane Meadows, I think, does Dead Man's Shoes. And then it has, I thought his name was Jack something. In this, he was like probably his first film. I think he'd been in like Skins or something, but now he's gone in to be on like Startup, and he's like a prison film. He's quite like a famous actor. I can't really see that it tells you, but obviously it's got Kelly Riley and Michael Fassbender. Sure, everybody knows Michael Fassbender. But yeah, pretty intense, kind of bleak, depressing sort of movie, but really, really good, gripping, intense film. Go for another one. Everybody probably knows The Fly by David Cronenberg. So I had to have some David Cronenberg and John Carpenter. So obviously The Thing by John Carpenter. This one by David Cronenberg. Another sci-fi horror, body horror. I'd say this is Cronenberg's best made film, but not my favourite, as I prefer Videodrome. Just like the style and that of it. But yeah, I'd say this is a better film. I think this is a remake, not seen the original, but most people do say this is a better remake than the original. I think the original is kind of like a sci-fi B-movie horror, the same as The Thing. Maybe harsh to call it a B-movie, but like a sci-fi, sorry, rather than a horror, and quite sort of dated. So they brought it up to date. But yeah, can't say for sure because I haven't seen the original, but one of the best sort of remakes, I think. Sure, everybody knows The Fly, Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Won't go on too much about it, but yeah, if you're like an entry level kind of into horror, then I mean, it is quite intense actually and gory with some really good practical effects, but it's not too sort of out there in terms of like plot or anything. So I'm sure people be able to get into that. Let's have a look. Let's go with The Host. So this is South Korean as well, I think. Directed by Bong Joon-ho. 120 minutes, so a bit of a longer one. Creature feature. Yeah, for me, one of the best creature features. Really was surprised. I'd heard good things about this when I bought it. But yeah, I'd say it's up there with like Godzilla and King Kong and stuff. Kind of it's like an action, got drama elements with like the guy's family and stuff. It's like a creature, I think it's a CGI creature, but it does look really good and it lives sort of under a bridge, so it's sort of aquatic and comes out of the water. Yeah, really entertaining. Yeah, if you're into your sort of foreign cinema, especially like Asian or Korean, South Korean, then I would really recommend that. But yeah, really fun sort of creature movie. Quite sort of emotional with a lot of like lot of stake and stuff. I won't go into too much what happens to the guy's family, but yeah, I would really recommend that if you haven't seen it. What year is this? 2007. Quite a while ago I got that one. Let's go with another sci-fi horror, Event Horizon. It's a special edition. I think this is out on 4K, maybe Blu-ray as well. I haven't picked it up. If I see it cheaper, I might. Basically, I was hoping when it's going to be released, it would have all the uncut footage, but apparently it's all been lost. So, without spoiling it, the ship goes through like a hell dimension, and it shows really brief clips. Get a bit more comfortable. Shows really brief clips of when move back a bit, where the ship goes through hell, and they watch this footage, and it's all sort of torture and brutality happening, but it goes by really quick. Whereas apparently originally there was a lot more footage, and it was some real like strong stuff. But yeah, apparently it's been lost, the actual original film or camera negatives or something, so they've not upgraded it. But yeah, starring Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne, directed by Paul Anderson. Really creeped me out as a kid, about 15 when I watched this. I wouldn't say it scared me till I was scared, in my bed after, but whilst watching it, it is a really sort of creepy. I think the second half is not as great, but first half really spooky and yeah, really original concept to be fair. I think the Dead Space games, if anybody knows those. I know Marcus is a gamer. Some of my favourite sort of survival horror games, although 2's a bit more actiony and 3 is full on action, but Dead Space 1 kind of does feel a bit like this took a sort of what's the word? Sort of based on that to a certain extent. Let's go for another British. So When the Lights Went Out. So this is a ghost story, based on the Enfield haunting, Enfield poltergeist, which also Conjuring 2 is based on. This is not as good a film as Conjuring 2, but still really good. There's a few bits of CGI which aren't great, but don't take it out of the film. Only 83 minutes, so quite a sort of fast one if anybody's, haven't got too much time to watch a film before they're doing something, then it's a good one to recommend. Can I see the year? 2013, so a bit more recent than some on this list. Yeah, I know Roy Barrett on his, when he was talking about Conjuring 2, was on about the story of the Enfield poltergeist. It's meant to be based on a true story. I think it happened in London. It's like the most renowned haunting, and there's even like evidence and police sort of witnessed things going on and stuff. I personally don't really believe in ghosts. I'm not completely skeptical, but yeah, it's a really well made film. I think it's set in Yorkshire, yeah. Oh, so yeah, I think the original was set in sorry, The Conjuring 2 and the story is based on was set in London, but this does say Yorkshire. But yeah, well made and quite creepy. Not really got gore and stuff to be fair, but yeah, probably one of the best British sort of ghost films I've seen. Let's go with something a bit more recent. So stop motion. So starring Ashlyn Franzosi from The Nightingale and the Fall. I think what year? 2024. I was going to say it feels like I've only got it recently. So So yeah, obviously I thought it would be about stop motion, about like a stop motion artist, but it does actually include stop motion in the film, and the stop motion's really well done, really sort of creepy. The stop motion. I think Robert Morgan, is he the one that made the Mad God, is it called? Or he did one like that, like an actual stop motion horror film. But yeah, stop motion bits are really good, really graphic. Really, the stop motion and the actual movie bit, really good performance by Ashlyn Franzosi. Some quite shocking moments, quite a sort of dark ending. Yeah, quite brutal, sort of disturbing, but yeah, really well made and really original. I was trying to think of like an animated horror to go on this list, but couldn't really think of one, so this was the closest I could get. I do want to pick up Mad God, but it seem to be like £17, £19 or so in HMV on like standard Blu-ray, so wait till I can get it cheap. What have we got next? Let's go with The Ordeal. These are in no particular order, not like, I'm saying watch that on day one or whatever, just throwing them out. So yeah, I've obviously got Tartan Asia Extreme and Tartan Video Label, but this is probably the only one I've got from Tartan Terror. So I would say this is a horror film. I mean, it says on the back, Royston Vasey meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So if anybody doesn't know, Royston Vasey, obviously the real name of Roy Chubby Brown, but also the town where League of Gentlemen is set, like a British sort of really twisted, dark comedy. Made by people that do Psycho Villain Inside Number 9. So yeah, it's a cross between those. Like I say, it is a dark comedy, really, but very dark. I guess it's like a kind of hostagey sort of kidnap film. But yeah, I class it as horror just because it is disturbing and that. Won't spoil it, but there is a scene where it sounds weird, but these sort of local guys are all like dancing in this like pub and someone's playing a piano, and that doesn't sound disturbing, but the way it's filmed, this really gives you like shivers down your spine. But yeah, also known as Calvaire. Must be, I think it's a Belgian film. It must be Belgian for The Ordeal, I guess. But yeah, pretty strong stuff. So quite disturbing, intense kind of extreme film. Bit of Absentia. So this is Mike Flanagan. I think it might be his first film back from 2010. Creature feature, but a really slow burn. Stuff does happen. It does have a payoff, and it's not like the kind of slow burn where you're left feeling unfulfilled. It's got some sort of jump scares, but really well done. Kind of a less is more. It doesn't really show the creature too much, but enough that you, like I say, you sort of don't feel shortchanged. But yeah, really creepy. If you're into your sort of slow burns, really low budget it seems, but really well acted. Quite an original story. It's got is he called Doug Jones? Let's see if I can see his name on the back. He's like a character actor. That's worked with Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, and Doug Jones. So yeah, I think he played Abe Sapien in Hellboy, and I think he plays the creature in The Shape of Water. And I think he might also be the guy in, what's it called? It's like a British film where he's got like a sort of puppet thing with like a man's head and spider legs. Comment down below if you know the film. I think he's in that as well when he's not dressed up. But yeah, really good character actor. But yeah, really creepy. Gets under your skin kind of. Yeah, creature feature. Let's go with The Collector. I do need to really upgrade this to Blu-ray or 4K or something, because this is one of my favourite sort of modern horror films. It probably gets lumped in with like Saw and Hostel. I mean, I don't like the torture porn bracket people put on things, and it's not that. It's more, I mean, Hostel, I guess, is just sort of setting up a movie to have as many sort of brutal, gory scenes as possible, whereas Saw obviously does have more of a story to it, and so does this. But yeah, there's a sequel called The Collection, which is quite good. The opening scene's amazing. And I think they're doing a third one. Not sure when that's coming out, called The Collected. Yeah, really well made story, well acted, really tense, disturbing, some really sort of painful scenes. Yeah, I'd say if you're into sort of quite intense kind of, I guess it's a home invasion, but The Collector, without spoiling it, does set traps around people's houses and things. But yeah, pretty brutal. Sure, a lot of people know The Collector, but if you haven't, then jump on it because it is a really good film. I'm trying to speed up because this is going on long. Everyone knows I waffle on and make long videos, but obviously when I got 31 to talk about, even if I only talk about each one for 1 minute, plus the preface of the video and that, then it's going to go on a while, so I'll try not to make it too long. But I've spoken about this in my goriest film, so The Evil Dead, so sure everybody knows this. The remake, so I do like the original, it's a classic. It's not really aged that badly, the original, it still stands up, but this is, my opinion, the best remake I've ever seen. So it takes everything about the original, makes it a bit more grounded, crazy gore, literally rains blood in one scene while Slayer's Raining Blood is playing in the background. I thought, this isn't a spoiler, it tells you this on the back, but basically the reason they're in the remote cabin, because a lot of the time in these films you'd be like, why would they go there? Why would they stay? Obviously in the original Evil Dead, the bridge is out or something, so they get trapped there. But in this, the sister's trying to recover from drugs. I think she's like a heroin addict. So they're trying to make her sort of wean her off of it, detox her. And then obviously when she starts saying she's seeing demons and she's possessed, they all think it's part of a drug. So it is quite well set up. I do also really like Evil Dead Rise, which seemed to get quite mixed reviews and some negative, whereas I enjoyed that. But yeah, this, as far as sort of gory, modern, I say modern, it's probably what, 2013? Not 2000, yeah, 2012 or 13, it says on the back. Yeah, sure, everybody knows that, but if you haven't seen it and you like the original, then I can't imagine you'd be disappointed. Just Hatching. So this is Finnish. Yeah, Finnish language film. Can't see a date on the back that it was released, but it must be the last few years. I haven't had it long. But yeah, this is another creature feature. This girl is a really good actress in it. The creature looks really good. It's pretty brutal and gory scenes. Quite a disturbing, intense film. Yeah, really enjoyable. Very original concept. Not really seen anything like it. But yeah, I'd say out of all the sort of recent horror films I've seen, this is one of the better, not just well made, but actually some quite like scenes that do get under your skin. Let's go with Inside. I was going to choose Martyrs as my favourite French horror, but Marcus had already chose it from X-File 2708. But yeah, this home invasion movie, won't say too much about it because it's a bit of a spoiler. Set on Christmas Eve. So people that say Die Hard is a Christmas film, you could class this as a Christmas film. I wouldn't. I mean, it's set at Christmas, but it's not got a Christmas sort of spirit going on. But yeah, really brutal, intense gore, really tense sort of scenes. Not a spoiler to say that obviously the lady's stalking her and trying to get in her house, and kind of feels a bit like The Strangers, but a more extreme, dare I say, better made version. Beatrice Dahl, I think you pronounce it. Really good as like the creepy lady in it. Bit of a twist near the end. Yeah, some really intense gore. This is like from the French wave of extreme cinema. So have quite a strong stomach if you want to watch that. But yeah, I would recommend one of the best sort of extreme films. What should we go with? Can't really do a horror ranking. Well, I say horror ranking, horror recommendations list without some Lucio Fulci. It was out of this and The Beyond as my two favourites. But yeah, this for me, best video nasty ever made. Best movie off the video nasty list. A lot of them video nasties, when you watch them now, they don't really deserve to be video nasties. A lot of them just got caught up in the furore. And depending on the name, if it had something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the name, or like The Toolbox, or I don't know, Axe, stuff like that, they would just be prosecuted without people really watching and viewing them. Whereas a few like this and Cannibal Holocaust, Faces of Death, I guess, although most of it is fake, really are strong stuff. This was quite hard to get hold of uncut. If you haven't subscribed to Joshua Fulci, I think his name is. I just called him Josh Fulci, but he's got some really nice sealed VHS and Betamax and that of this. Obviously, he's a big fan of Lucio Fulci. But yeah, just such a fun. The soundtrack to this is amazing. Really fun kind of romp, gore, great special effects, really well made. The scene with the zombie and the shark, one of the best film scenes I've seen in any film ever. I don't know how they got the shark next to him and the zombie to like bite the shark and stuff, but yeah, classic, like Italian zombie horror. Just go with Jacob's Ladder. Guess this is maybe a thriller, but I thought I'd lump in a few sort of thriller horror. So people that ain't a massive fan of horror might sort of get something out of this. But yeah, seen this as a kid and found it really creepy. Some really horrible scenes in it. Directed by Adrian Lin. Starring Tim Robbins. Got Macaulay Culkin in it briefly. And then, I hope it says his name on the back. It's one of my favourite actors. One of the guys at The Sopranos. Danny Aiello. Really good as like the chiropractor. But yeah, sort of Vietnamese. I mean, it's got bits of war in it, but yeah, basically a platoon go to Vietnam. They give them some sort of Agent Orange LSD and when they come out of Vietnam, they're all hallucinating and seeing demons. You don't know if it's because of that. And obviously, scientist creates this drug, a chemical called the ladder. And then after you're like, they're really being haunted by these demons, where it's all in their head. But yeah, really well made, creepy. I think there's a remake which I haven't seen, but I've heard it's not great. Premonition. So Tartan Age Extreme. I think this is Japanese. This one. Yeah, quite emotional, quite sort of sad. I won't go into it too much, but the bit with the car on fire and someone trapped in it near the start, really sort of devastating, really creepy, well made. Does it tell you who it's directed by? Premonition, director of Ring Zero, which isn't great. This is better than Ring Zero, put it that way. But 2006, this one. But yeah, if you're into, I know Marcus and that are into their foreign horror, then yeah, I'd say that's a really good sort of creepy slow burner kind of one. Gets under your skin. Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. So I'm sure everybody's heard me talk about this. The goriest film ever, in my opinion. Hilarious, so well choreographed. Amazing music. Quotable lines. Lawnmower scene near the end is all I'm going to say. Inventive gore, done on a low budget. I mean, yeah, you watch this with the budget it was done on by Peter Jackson, and you could tell he was going to go on to be a genius filmmaker. I think I've already seen that. I said that. Very different to his Lord of the Rings movies, but equally good in my opinion. Spoke about it before, so I won't go on too long. But yeah, probably my second favourite horror film ever after The Thing. Right, let's speed it up a bit, because this is running very long now. Right, Ghost Watch. This is a really good Halloween one, because it was sort of aired, I think it was, BBC. Let me check on the front. Yep, aired on the BBC. Did have a disclaimer at the start, I think, saying it was a drama, but because I think it started at like 5 to 9, so no, but everybody tuned in at 9 o'clock, missed the disclaimer, and then thought it was real, and it was presented, obviously, with Michael Parkinson as being real. I've watched it recently, and it still is creepy and still holds up, but obviously when I was a kid, we genuinely all thought it was real footage. I was like, how would they show this on TV? BBC got in a lot of trouble over it, where there was like a phone line you could ring in. Apparently, once you rung the phone line, the first bit when on the message was saying it was all a drama and made up. But obviously, a lot of people didn't ring in, but people were ringing Watchdog. Without going into too much, there was a story that someone was so creeped out by it they'd like committed suicide. Could be like an urban legend, like a myth, but yeah, thousands of phone calls and that. I think the BBC got over this. Next day on the playground, everybody was, have you seen Ghost Watch? I can't believe it. I was terrified last night. Yeah, I must have seen this when I was like 9 years old or so when it aired. A bit like the War of the Worlds when that first aired on the radio. H.G. Wells. I don't think everybody knew it was sort of play. I think they thought it was a real broadcast on the news of the world being invaded by aliens. A bit like that. But yeah, really great sort of mockumentary, sort of British film. Possession. This is one of my favourite Possession movies. And I really enjoy this one. Basically, you get a Dybbuk box. Don't know if you know about a Dybbuk box, but it's like a box from Jewish mythology that has like an evil spirit in. But yeah, got some really creepy scenes, really good sort of drama with the dad and his daughters and stuff. Yeah, I was quite surprised how well made I think this is. I sort of got it, hearing good things about it. I thought it'd be a bit like some of the other Possession films, obviously other than The Exorcist. Exorcism of Emily Rose I really enjoy, but it's kind of half court drama, so I thought I'd go with this one. But yeah, if you're into your sort of, I guess it's like a mainstream horror, but I don't think that many people have seen it that I've spoke to. Directed by Ollie Borndahl. I can't say I've seen anything else by him to my knowledge, but yeah, I was really impressed by this one. So yeah, I would recommend that if you're into your sort of Possession, creepy. I mean, most Possession films have got like a Christian or Catholic ethos, whereas this is sort of Jewish mythology, so it's a bit original as well to some. Right. Infection. So this is another Tartan Age Extreme, Japanese, J-horror. Basically, I've been set in a hospital. I think I've spoke about this one before. Comes with a really nice slipcase. So one of the only Tartan Age Extreme slipcase I got, I think. But yeah, it's like an infection in a hospital, really creepy. Don't know of that many sort of films, especially horror, set in hospitals, so quite original to see that. yeah, would recommend if you're into your foreign horror. But yeah, really quite a slow burn, but gets under your skin. Really haunting scenes. Really plays the hospital well. It's like a creepy kind of place. Dead End. I think I did about this on my underrated or sort of films you might not have heard of. I think Ash from Popcorn at Horror said he'd seen this one and likes it. Kind of road movie. Quite gory. Quite original. Kind of a dark comedy, I would say. But yeah, I don't know how many people have seen this, and they should, because it is really good. Really, really rank this one up there. Was it directed by John Baptiste Andrea and Fabrice Canepa? Can't really say I've heard of them, but got Ray Wise in it. I'm sure people know him. I think he's been in Twin Peaks or something. Lynn Shay, more recently been in Insidious and that. A wife of Bob Shay from, I think he owns New Line Cinema, produced Nightmare on Elm Street. Dream House. Or Dream Home. Yeah, sorry, Dream Home. It's Japanese. Let me see if I can see the language at the bottom. Oh, Cantonese. Was that China? Cantonese? Where they speak Cantonese? I think so. Directed by Pang Ho Chung. So yeah, this is a horror, but it's not supernatural. It's more this woman's, not a spoiler to say, it does say it on the back, it's a serial killer. But some of the scene with the vacuum is all I'm going to say. Really quite a disturbing, intense movie, but quite original, and yeah, I did really enjoy this one. But yeah, we'll say a warning on a few of them, like Inside I showed earlier, and another one I maybe got coming up. It is strong stuff, so could sort of be disturbing if you're quite a sort of casual viewer of horror and that. But yeah, I would really recommend this one. I don't think too many people have seen that. I hadn't heard of it until I sort of seen a disturbing movies list or something and picked it up from that. Caveat. So yeah, one of my favourite of the sort of new ones I've seen. So it's a Shudder original. I find quite a lot of these Shudder are really good, sort of low budget ones. I spoke about this before, so I won't go into it too much. But basically, there's a sort of girl in the house who's like disabled on like a remote island, and this guy gets paid to sort of babysit her, but because she's got issues where if you go in her bedroom, she sort of flips out and that. He's sort of on a chain where he sounds a bit silly, but where he can only go in certain rooms. Yeah, this little sort of rabbit thing you can see on the front that plays a drum. One of the creepiest sort of little characters I've seen in modern horror. Quite sort of like quite an icon. And then yeah, without going into it, there's a scene. All I'm going to say is it's so drawn out and tense. Where there's this woman in this room and the guy's next to her, and you think her eyes are going to open. It just really gets under your skin. But yeah, really was impressed by this. Really fun. I thought it was really well made for like a Shudder kind of movie. But yeah, quite a recent one. Yeah, kind of. I mean, a lot of these I'm trying to put in a subgenre bracket where it's quite hard to describe. Caveat, really. I guess it's not really a haunting. I guess it's in a house kind of thing. So yeah, sort of like a Return of the Living Dead 3. So I like all the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead 1, 2. 1 probably my favourite, but this I've only picked up recently. Was really quite surprised how much I enjoyed it. So I think I've said before that I remember seeing this in the video shop with this woman on the front. Quite sort of brutal and gory. Is it I think it's early 90s, yeah, 92. But yeah, a really fun kind of zombie movie with a sort of difference. And as you can see on the front, this woman's kind of got like weapons and she's fighting people and stuff. Changeling, a nice second sight edition. I think I lost a J card to this a long time ago. George C. Scott, one of my favourite actors. Really slow burn, really creepy. Bit with the sort of ball coming down the stairs and the wheelchair at the top of the stairs. I'm sure most people have seen this, but if you haven't and you're into your sort of classic, kind of like an Omen sort of feel to it, but more of a ghost story. But yeah, obviously this kind of haunting film. Haunting will haunt you, but also obviously, I mean, haunting is in the subgenre. So yeah, ghost movie. Yeah, quite a slow burn, but really well made and really creepy. Classic, and probably maybe my favourite ghost film ever. Session 9. So another second sight. I still do have the little J card thing on this. Nice release. Yeah, one of my favourites. Just missed out on my top 15 favourite films list I did. Psychological horror / thriller, really. Kind kind of a haunting, but you're like, is it really haunted or is it humans doing it? I won't go into the twist and spoil it, but yeah, really creepy slow burn, shot in the Danvers State Mental Hospital, which is a real abandoned building. Well, abandoned when they filmed there, but obviously years ago it was known as one of the worst practices for sort of mental health. So people in there would all be given lobotomies and shock treatment and thrown in ice baths and abused and neglected. And yeah, the sort of place they shoot it looks amazing. And then it's got David Caruso was in Rambo First Blood when he was younger. Peter Mullen, Scottish actor, one of my favourite sort of British actors. I won't go on too much, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend. And then The Borderlands. Heard about this a while ago, but only seen it recently for the first time when I picked it up on this nice second site. Coincidentally, I've left these second sites to last. It wasn't really planned. I guess it's a religious horror, but done in a really different way, but found footage. One of my favourite found footage films. Yeah, very realistic the way it's shot. Really believable. A few shocking scenes. Really creepy. Really, I think Mark, what's he called? Mark Commode said that when he watched this at the cinema, it's one of the only films that ever he nearly walked out of. Not because he didn't like it, but it ramps up the tension in a sort of in a subtle way where it's building and building, and it really gets under your skin. But the ending in this haunted me for days. Obviously, won't spoil it, but yeah, if you're into your found footage, this and Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, Paranormal Activity have all been second sight releases. So I think Second Sight really like releasing their found footage. I think they're doing the Blair Witch release soon as well. Yeah, I don't think this is out of print. You can probably still get it on this kind of box if you wanted it. But yeah, really good. One of the sort of most pleasantly surprised I've been with, like I say, a new film, a film I've watched recently. And then the last one, Creature Feature. I guess there's a little bonus. You could have both of these. First one is more of a straight up horror. Second one a bit more of a horror comedy. Second one probably a bit more of a fun film. Oh, hopefully it's got a poster in there, so I'm going to put it up on the wall if it has. But yeah, first of all, I thought this was going to be a bit of like a throwaway B movie when I heard of Alligator. Got it anyway because I heard good things and it was fun. But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised how well these are done. As you can see from the front, an alligator's down in the sewers. I think it's set in New York. Starring Louis Teague from Cujo, John Sayles from The Howling. Can I find who it's directed by on the back? No. It feels like it's like the 80s. Can I see a date on it? Most of the information's probably inside on this one, I guess. But yeah, if you're into your sort of creature feature, sort of fun, kind of the atmosphere of Anaconda, but better made, I would say. But yeah, really was pleasantly surprised on this. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's went on longer than I thought, but obviously I knew it would take quite a while. So hopefully you've got the patience to watch this. Won't get too bored of it. Hopefully there's been some good recommendations, ones you haven't seen. So yeah, I think I meant to tag 2 people to do a response. So a few of the people I would have tagged have already been tagged, like Sammy G and Roy Barrett. Obviously Ash, I think he's been tagged. So I don't think I've seen Stuart George be tagged yet. So yeah, I tagged Stuart George. Obviously, if people haven't got time or whatever, or don't have enough sort of horror movies to do this list of 31, then that's fair enough. I respect that, but yeah, there's not too many people that seem to haven't done this, the same as the one before, favourite genre that I tagged. So yeah, Stuart George, and Ollie loves film if he hasn't done this and he's got time. I know he said he's been busy at work and stuff recently. I mean, maybe I can tag some other people if both of those have already been tagged or haven't got time to do it. But yeah, thank you for the tagging this, Marcus. And like I say, hopefully I haven't waffled on too long. Hopefully a few things people haven't heard of. And like I've said before, horror is my favourite genre. So happy to do this one. And going through those sort of made me want to watch a lot of them. So going to try and get some of those watched over Halloween. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all have a good day. Comment below. Thank you, bye.